It's the Brad Field Weather Podcast, underwritten by Action Carpet and Floor Covering of Simsbury, a family-run business there for you, and by McAllen Construction. McAllen Construction, from the first dig to the last nail. I am Dan Lavallo. He is meteorologist Brad Field. We are putting this podcast/broadcast together on Friday, January the 16th. And Brad, we are looking at a couple of snow systems coming our way over the next 48 hours. What's going on?
That's right, Dan. We've got weekend snow coming at us in two pieces. Piece number one comes in late tonight. And as you said, it's Friday, January 16th. So as we head toward daybreak on Saturday, January 17th, I think snow is going to start overtaking the state. And the snow should last a good part of the day on Saturday. There will be a little bit of a problem accumulating. I will get to that in a moment. And then part number two, it looks like Sunday afternoon and Sunday night, we could see some snow. But then I was thinking about it, Dan. Normally it would be impacting schools and so forth on Monday morning, but then I thought it's the holiday on Monday, so no harm, no foul.
That's right. Martin Luther King Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday. But this is going to be interesting. Could you give us a little background behind the two systems coming our way?
Yeah, system number one, Dan, is a clipper. And midday today, it's going to be located over Lake Superior. And essentially, what this clipper is going to do is ride the US-Canada border east. And it should be north of us, up toward where Vermont intersects with Canada. So we are going to be on the, quote, mild side of the storm, but the air is cold enough because of the fact that it's mid-January now. By the way, Dan, for all the snow and winter lovers, the January thaw is over. And I will tell you what, as I look at things over the next month or so, you are going to have your fill of cold and your fill of snow chances. Now, I'm not saying that every single one is going to hit, but the overall pattern is looking extremely good. If you like, old-fashioned New England winter type weather, I think we've got that coming between now and, as far as I can see, which is about the middle of February.
Wow.
Some of the long-range models go out that far, Dan. So I'm looking at much colder than average temperatures coming in, and also many opportunities for snow. But this first clipper, as I said, though, is going by to our north. So tomorrow, while it's snowing, temperatures will be in the 30s. So during the day tomorrow, any treated surfaces like driveways or walkways or streets, if they put down any sand or salt at all, they should only be wet during the day tomorrow. And wet snow should accumulate on grassy surfaces. So keep this in mind, Dan. With a low pressure up on the Canada border, the circulation around it is clockwise. So our flow here in Connecticut is going to be out of the south. So I don't think you need to go to 4 years of college and meteorology school and everything to know that a southerly wind is not the best wind to get a snowstorm on. And tomorrow we'll have a southerly wind. Now, the temperature of Long Island Sound, the waters of Long Island Sound right now, is 37 degrees. So when the wind blows off the Sound tomorrow, places like Bridgeport, New Haven, Old Lyme, over toward Groton and New London are going to reflect the temperature of Long Island Sound. So they will move up into the mid-30s. So I am only looking for a coating there on grassy surfaces along Long Island Sound. Now, as we work inland, I think there'll be a slushy inch or two in especially on grassy surfaces, let's say along the I-84 corridor. Dan, when we get out toward you, the hills of Litchfield County, and say we get up toward the hilly terrain of Interstate 84 as you head up towards Sturbridge, places like Union and Ashford and Eastford, for example, out in the northeast hills of Connecticut, there could be up to 3 inches of snow accumulation tomorrow. So it's not a big storm by any stretch. Fairly low impact because number one, it's coming on the weekend. And number two, as I said, the temperatures are going to be borderline. So it's going to have trouble accumulating on the roads. So it may not slow you down at all tomorrow. You may be able to drive around and be just fine, go about your errands or whatever. So that's how I see the day tomorrow. Now, tomorrow night, obviously, it's going to get cold. I've got readings for tomorrow night back down into the teens and 20s. So what wet snow there is going to freeze solidly. Then, you've been hearing about this for a long time. I mentioned it on the podcast last week, but there have been some computer model runs, Dan, that have been, outlandish, but I say that, but they're really not outlandish because the pattern that we're going into has all sorts of potential. When you put Arctic cold straight from the North Pole up against the warm Gulf Stream waters, atmospheric histrionics can erupt. And there was one computer model run that I saw. What's today? Today's Friday. I think I saw it Wednesday afternoon, Dan, had for this weekend over 2 feet of snow for eastern Connecticut, northern Rhode Island, and southwest of Boston. Now, the windshield wiper effect has been in full fury this week. You got all the so-called meteorologists hanging up their slate and saying, come to me, I know what's going on. But they're saying exactly what the computer models are saying. And the windshield wiper effect, if you don't know what it is, it's been coined by my friend Bernie Rayno at AccuWeather. And every 6 hours, as the computer models come in, you get the storm is going to hit, you get the storm is going to go out to sea. Then you get the storm is going to hit, then you get the storm is going to go out to sea. So the windshield wiper effect.
Right.
Well, this morning, Dan, the wipers are on hit.
Oh,
And that's for later Sunday and Sunday night. Now, not 2 feet, but, a decent, significant storm could hit. Again, I would say, judging by all the modeling I'm looking at, that the worst of the storm could be on the line from Providence to Boston and point south and east. So that's east of Connecticut. So the best chance of getting decent accumulating snow on late Sunday and Sunday night would be Windham County and New London County in eastern Connecticut, Dan. So the Saturday thing, you likely get the most up in Litchfield County, and the hills of Tolland County will get some, 3 inches of snow, something like that. But then late Sunday and Sunday night, the best chance of getting 2 to 4 inches of snow would be eastern Connecticut. And then out toward Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts, there could be some sixes popping. And guess what's located in southeastern Massachusetts?
I'm going to take a wild guess and say Foxborough.
There you go. And Dan, during the Patriots game on Sunday, the game starts at 3. During the game, it could very well start snowing. Now, I'm going to ask you. I got to think that favors the Patriots, but what do you think? And the reason I say that is because Texas's defense is so good that I wonder if it will kind of slow down their rush on Drake May if they have bad footing.
Well, that's a fair analysis. As a matter of fact, what were you undefeated last week in your picks? I think I was 5-1. You were 6-0 as far as picking winners. So congratulations,
I
first of all.
predict for a living, Dan.
But I would agree with you. In fact, I was leaning towards picking Houston. But if weather's going to be a factor, because as you said, Houston has a tremendous defense. But if weather's going to be a factor, and it sounds as if it will be, then I am picking the Patriots to beat Houston on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'm thinking for the game is that snow will probably be developing during the game. So when the game starts at 3 o'clock, it might not be doing anything. And then maybe in the late in the first quarter, it might start sprinkling, or some wet snow may start falling. But by the third and fourth quarter, we could have a steady snow ongoing in Foxborough on Sunday. Temperatures probably starting off in the middle 30s. So at kickoff, I'd say it's probably like 35 degrees. But as it starts snowing, colder air will mix down from the upper levels of the atmosphere. So by the end of the game, I think the temperature is below freezing, probably 30 or so. And, maybe as we get into the second half, we might see snow starting to accumulate on the field. So, that's how I see that.
Well, I think it's the perfect segue. I know it received a lot of publicity last week, the segment where you gave us the forecast for the NFL playoff site. So we're going to do it again today. And you're essentially predicting snow for Foxborough from, let's say, the late first quarter on. But I can mark you down as a Patriots win for Sunday then.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm
Yes.
with you on that. I'm picking the Patriots. So that leads us to let's start with Saturday, and the first game is in Denver between the Bills and the Broncos. So what does the weather look like in the Mile High City?
Dan, if you have any friends or family that live out around Denver, they have had an incredibly open winter. They've had really no snow of consequence, no huge snowstorms. And that pattern is going to continue. I mean, as far into the future as I can see, they're going to be under a mild ridge, and we are going to go into a deep, cold trough here in the east, and potentially very snowy for us. For Denver, for the game on Sunday when the Bills take on the Broncos at 4:30 Eastern, so it'll be about 2:30 their time that the game starts. I think it'll be mostly sunny with the temperature between 35 and 40. So for Denver, those are nearly ideal conditions for the game. So I really don't see the weather impacting the game. And as far as my prediction goes, if and this is a huge concern, Dan, the ability to breathe and be conditioned at Mile High Stadium. If the Broncos are well conditioned, I mean, excuse me, if the Bills are well conditioned, I don't see stopping Josh Allen. So I'm going to predict that the Bills will win on Sunday and take the number one seed out.
Well, interesting. I'm going with the Broncos, and I'm going with the Broncos for a couple of reasons. One, they have been well prepared all season long, particularly at home. And two, Josh Allen is banged up, and he managed to survive that game against Jacksonville, but you don't know how healthy he is. And so I think it's going to be a close game. In fact, if you look at the line for that game, depending on which line you read, the Broncos are either favored by a point or the Bills are favored by a half a point. But I'm going with the Broncos in that game. I think it might be the best of the four playoff games this weekend. So I got you down for the Bills, and I'm going with the Broncos.
I think, Sean, Payton is an excellent
No
coach.
question.
I think he's a great coach, and he's done really well with the Broncos. He's had this extra week to prepare. My hope is that if the Patriots win, as I'm predicting and you're predicting, that banged up, I hope he gets really banged up. I know that's mean to say, but a banged up Josh Allen comes to Foxborough the following week. So, that's how I hope it's a physical game, a tough game. I hope it beats up both of the teams. And we'll see. Yeah, the Texans, though. I mean, they're a tough draw
Yeah, they are
too.
tough.
So I think we've got two great AFC games, but I think I'm going to stick with the Bills.
Okay. That leads us to a Saturday night in Seattle, where the Seahawks will be hosting the San Francisco 49ers. What does the weather look like there?
Well, there are no weather issues at all in that game. It should be mainly clear. So the game starts at 8 p.m. Eastern, so that's 5 p.m. local time. So it'll be just about sunset. So clear through the evening there, temperatures in the 40s, dropping to near 40 by the end of the game. So not a single weather issue at all. I'd like the 49ers to win. I like the 49ers. I like Robert Saleh. I like Kyle Shanahan. I I love the running back McAfee,
Yeah.
and I like Purdy very much. So I'm gonna wish cast here. I'm gonna say I think the 49ers will win. And I think that Sam Darnold will make some stupid mistake that costs them the game.
Okay. We're disagreeing on this one too. I'm going with Seattle. And by the way, when I gave my sports predictions for 2026, I said either San Francisco and or Denver would play in the Super Bowl, but I'm not going with San Francisco for a couple of reasons. One, they're banged up. Their defense is banged up. George Kittle, the tight end, is going to be out.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yes.
And Seattle's playing at home, and not too long ago, last month, Seattle defeated San Francisco on the Niners field. So now Darnold, he's banged up too. He might be doubtful for that game. So you don't know who's going to quarterback for the Seahawks. But that said, I'm going with Seattle in that game. So we're at odds on a couple of games, which is great. Very
Yeah, that
good.
is great.
Yeah. That leads us now
Yeah,
to the Sunday night game. We did the Sunday afternoon game already, the Patriots and the Texans. Sunday night in Chicago, Bears and the Rams. And I know you're going to tell us weather's going to be a big factor in that game. What's it going to be like?
a huge factor, Dan, because it's going to be cold. Temperatures will be in the teens, but that's the temperature. It's also going to be windy. There might be some snow flurries or snow showers swirling around that, they might be able to put down a coating, but it is definitely going to be Bears football weather. And I don't know if the boys from LA are going to be doing too well in that kind of environment. So I think I'm going to go with the Bears.
I'm with you. I mean, I heard the wind chill will be below zero for that
Oh,
game.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So there you go. I'm going with the Bears. It's the Bears kind of weather, and I don't know how you can play football in those conditions, but I remember a few years ago in a playoff game, the Giants played the Packers in Green Bay, and it was something like 17 degrees below zero with the wind chill, and somehow they managed to survive, and Chicago will be the same thing. But I'm with you. I like the Bears in that game.
And let me just jump ahead, Dan, to the following weekend, the championship weekend, because if the Patriots or Bills happen to make it and the game is not in Denver, say Denver's out of it, so the game's somewhere here in the Northeast. Well, it would be in New England
Right.
if that it could be snowing next weekend.
Oof.
Next weekend looks snowy. So if they don't get a snow game this weekend, they might get a snow game if they play next weekend.
Well,
But
that would be an interesting matchup because both those teams know what it's like to play in the snow.
That's exactly right. But I will tell you this, Dan, if somehow the game, I don't know if it's possible for it to end up being in Chicago next weekend if the Bears advance. I don't know who's the higher seed, if it's the Bears or the 49ers. That would be the only way I think that it could be in Chicago. But if it is in Chicago, it could be, you could, it could be like a frostbite danger.
Wow.
You could have temperatures near zero on the
Oh,
thermometer and, 30 below wind chill.
wow.
That it's that type of cold. And just to give you a little preview, I said to you that it could be snowy here, not only this weekend, but it could also be snowy here next weekend. The coldest weather of the winter I see coming after that potential snow next weekend. So that would be Monday the 26th, Tuesday the 27th. And I know that that's a 10-day forecast for me for now, but I think it will be below zero on both of those days here in Connecticut.
Wow. Well, that's the perfect segue, Brad, to our long range forecast. I mean, what does it look like? What does it play from an atmospheric standpoint that is leading to this?
Well, Dan, I'm going to go with my tried and true European computer model as I look at next week because there have been model solutions all over the place. Like I say, the American model on Wednesday had 2 feet of snow for Northeast Connecticut, Northern Rhode Island, and the southwest suburbs of Boston. Then the next morning, they had nothing. I mean, it was like, so it's a jerk the wheel kind of model. Like they're all in, they're all out, they're all in there. So I like a more steady approach to a forecast than jerking it around like that. The European model that I've been noticing for this storm, this upcoming weekend that I told you here in Connecticut, it's going to be in two pieces. It's been nudging the forecast, Dan. It's had the storm like right along the coast, and then it comes like 10 or 15 miles further west. And then the next run, it's 10 or 15 miles further west. And then the next run, it's 10 or 15 miles further west, such that this morning, by using the European model and the European AI model, I have a pretty good feeling that we're going to get something from Sunday's storm here, even back here in Connecticut. I told you the axis of the heaviest snow would be Boston to Providence and the Foxborough area for Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. But I do think we'll get some snow back here. So based on, me thinking that the European model is the way to go, excuse me, and it's got some backing from the Canadian model, which I also think is a very good model. And the Icon computer model is a German model, which is typically very good, very consistent. I'm going with those instead of the American model. So as I look at next week, we've got a departing coastal on the Sunday night storm will be departing off the New England coast on Monday. ML King Jr.'s birthday celebration. So the storm will be departing. Temperatures will be cold and it will be windy. Temperature between 28 and say 34 on Monday. But what the departing low is going to do is it's going to jerk down some cold air out of eastern Canada. This is not what we call the quote mother load. That is coming, but it won't be till about a week from Monday. So on Tuesday, I'm predicting low in the single digits and high only in the teens. So Tuesday is a bitterly cold day. Wednesday, we've got high pressure off the mid Atlantic. So in the morning, it's in the single digits. We'll say single digits above and below zero. Uh, the cities, the coastline, where there's an impact from the sound, the cities where there's an impact from the urban heat island effect will be in the single digits. Places away from the city, more rural and countryside with snow cover, will be in the single digits below zero. That's on Wednesday morning. The good thing about Wednesday, not much wind. Temperature in the 20s in the afternoon on Wednesday. Now, Thursday, we'll have another approaching clipper. Uh, Again, we're going to be on the warm side of this clipper, but it's not really that warm. So it's going to be sort of again like tomorrow's going to be. It'll be in the 30s and it'll be snowing, but it's going to have trouble sticking and all that. But there will be snow down on the ground already. So the new snow will stick to the old snow, but it might have trouble again on the roads and the driveways and stuff, which is, I think, fine with everybody except the kids that want the day off from school. But then, kids that want the day off from school, I believe you are going to have your chances because what I'm looking at, Friday, again, it turns colder. Temperatures in the teens, again, maybe 26 to 32 on Friday. Next weekend, just giving an overview, not a detailed forecast. Next weekend looks like it'll be snowy. I All the computer models that go out that far seem to have snow in the forecast for Saturday and Sunday of next weekend. So what would that be? That would be the 24th and 25th.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Once that goes by, Monday and Tuesday, the 26th and 27th, the proverbial mother lode of Arctic cold comes right over the Northeast. So I could see even like the cities, Hartford, New Haven, being zero or below. The cold spots in Connecticut, the Norfolks of the world or whatever, the Colebrookes, 15 below. I mean, we are looking at bitter, bitter cold, serious cold coming. The kind of cold that might cancel schools.
Wow.
Type of thing. I can see that coming, not this coming week, but the week after.
Wow. Whoa. Well, on that note, and again, we're putting this together on Friday, January 16th. What does the immediate forecast look like?
All right, Dan, the thaw is over. The January thaw is over. We talked about the first week of January being about 3 degrees below average per day. The second week of January, which we just went through, was like 10 degrees above normal per day. So right now, as we go into the second half of January, which is exactly, yesterday was the 15th, and I have data through the 15th. We are averaging now 4 degrees above average per day. But even with that kind of information that I'm giving you, I am still predicting with high confidence that the month of January is going to go into the record book as colder than average because I think the next 2 weeks are going to be really cold. And snowfall so far this month, first half of the month, we've only had about 2 inches of snow. We had about 9.5 inches in December. We've had about 2 inches of snow so far this month. Uh, it has the potential to come out with at least normal snowfall, which would be about a foot. So that we'd have to get another 10 inches in the next 2 weeks. And I'd say that's very, very doable. So without further ado, here's the forecast. Sunny, breezy, cold today, Dan, 28 to 34. Increasing clouds tonight with snow by daybreak. I think the snow will break out across the state between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. Temperatures overnight tonight in the 20s. For tomorrow, periods of snow. It could peter out to almost nothing in the morning and then pick back up again around 1 or 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I think most of interior Connecticut will end up with an inch or two on the grassy surfaces, especially. You, northwest hills of Connecticut, again, those northeast hills I mentioned, Summers and Ashford and Union, they could end up with 3 inches of snow. Um, Tomorrow, temperature in the 30s, varying, maybe 32 or 33 at your house, Dan, maybe 34 or 35 at my house, maybe 36 or 37 at the Connecticut shoreline. So, where it's 36 or 37, it's not going to accumulate much. It's going to have a hard time accumulating at a place like my house, but at a place like your house, it should more readily accumulate. Then Sunday, another period of snow possible, mainly during the afternoon and overnight. And from this one, I'm going to go for a general 1 to 3 inches across the state. Maybe over toward the Rhode Island border, they could get 4 inches of snow. And then that axis from Providence to Boston, somebody in there could get 6 inches of snow out of this thing. And it might be Foxborough. And then Monday, sunny, 28 to 34. Tuesday, sunny, 18 to 24 for the high temperature. Wednesday, sunny and in the 20s. Thursday, scattered snow showers and temperatures in the mid 30s. And I'll just leave you again with the possibility of more snow next weekend and then the bitter cold for the last week of January.
All right, my friend. Hey, it's wintertime, so we've got to expect this, right?
All right, and go Patriots. And Dan, I would be remiss if I did not say I am thrilled with my Boston Bruins. They won their fifth straight game last night as they hoisted Zdeno Chara's number 33 up to the rafters. Easy for me to say.
Well, yeah, they're playing tremendous hockey, and they lambasted my Rangers last weekend 10-2. I can't believe that, but we'll forget that conversation.
And my last sports point, is the Harbaugh thing official with the Giants?
Well, it's not yet. His name is not on the dotted line yet. I mean, it looks as if it's going to happen by all indications, but until that name is on the dotted line, I can't tell you it's official.
Well, I've got some very good friends. You, Todd Pyro, who works for
Right.
Fox.
I know, Todd.
Yeah, both huge Giants fans. A guy named Dave Demchek, who lived on my street when I lived up in North Granby. My good friend Mike Mooney. They're Giants fans, and I would be so happy for you guys if you got Harbaugh because I've got Vrabel in May.
Right.
If you had Harbaugh and Dart. Good things can happen with the right combos. When you had Belichick and Brady, look at all the good things that happened. So, I'd be happy for you.
Well, thank you. We'll take it. And Brad, to you and our and Sandy and our audience, be safe, stay warm, and enjoy the football this weekend.
Thank you, Dan. You and Susan have a great weekend. Thanks to our audience and thanks to our underwriters.
Thanks, Brad. The Brad Field Weather Podcast has been underwritten by McAllen Construction. McAllen Construction, from the first dig to the last nail, and by Action Carpet and Floor Covering of Simsbury, a family-run business there for you.